Oh, yep.
Welcome back to the Hearthstone Global
ads.
Games. We're in the final stretch.
Good afternoon. Good morning. Good morning. Look at this. I got things all ready here. Oh, 5 minutes ago, no problem. I'll look at a book I've got sitting here just for a minute. Look at this book. Yeah, interesting. Oops. 8:02. Sorry about that. 30 seconds late. The world is at an end. Good morning, gang. Back at it. What's on plate this morning? Okay, we see some test prints here. So. Yesterday afternoon, we finally got some testing done. The paper, as I said yesterday morning, I just made the paper wet in the morning. By noon or so, it settled down. And actually, I was crazy busy with print parties anyway in the morning. Print party in the morning. But in the afternoon, it settled down a little bit, and the print parties were okay. There was a group of 2 or something and a group of 3, whatever. So the kids did it. Teiko-san and the staff downstairs did the print parties in the afternoon. I came up here, and I didn't do all this myself. I sat down together with Suga-san, our printer here. She's the one who's been doing the Ukiyo-e Heroes work for Jed recently. I sat down with her, and she ran the test for me here, so we'll see it in a minute. Just hang on. Today's work is the first production run of this print. There's just a couple of dozen copies to get the first batch up and running. But we have some test prints. None of these are the print as it will be published. This is still the first test run. And as I do this job now for the next few days, I will change things to match what I think it should look like. But these are close. These are the kind of print it's going to be, although this is not it exactly. We still haven't figured out what to do with the overlap of the blue and the green. Which is a good one. I don't know. Here we are. This is something like what this print is going to be like. Look at this. You can see I got some of the registration marks off. It's sticking out at the bottom. This is still just a test, but it'll be something like this. Remember, as I mentioned, this is a woodblock print, not a painting. So the parts that were painted, you can see some of the stuff, right? We were experimenting with overlaying different blues on top of the greens. Some of them much too dark, spoiled it, but this is what testing is all about. We're also experimenting with the background color to keep no background, which I think is not the way we're going to go. A lighter background or a deeper background. And I'm suspecting it's going to be a richer, deeper background when I finally get down to it. This is still rough. She just printed it quite rough, and we need a bit of a smoother impression here. But this is the ballpark. This is what we're at. It's not as dramatically, wow, this is so cute as last year's print. It's quieter. I don't think it's going to be as popular in terms of selling millions of copies. But it's a pleasant, attractive print. We'll see. So my job now, anyway, is to start the first production run, and you know how this starts. Bare block, calendar in the paper. Everybody's going real quiet. Which side up is this? Here they go. Is it a gift print? Yes, this will be the gift print for 2018. 2019, how do we label them? It'll be this year's gift print. And in a couple of days from now, once this version is done, the first production run, and all the colors and stuff are decided, I'll put it up on the website, and away we go. Yeah, I want to keep it moist a little bit. If I kept it totally dry, it would just basically dry out this paper as I do this. So I'll just keep it a tad moist, no big deal. So that the paper I've calendared now can go directly to the next step. When we do the calendaring on the press, it sits between sheets of plastic so it doesn't get moisture pulled out of it. It's hard to tell the front and back. What is this process called? I'm not sure you mean printmaking, and what we're doing is Japanese woodblock printmaking, but the particular process today, right now, is I'm making the surface of the paper smooth. The paper's a bit too rough. Bit of a boring job, but has to be done. This is higher than a normal block. I keep bumping it here, not used to the difference. Because this work is not so inherently interesting, I brought a little bit of show and tell today, not so much. Yesterday we had a bit of a scattered show and tell. I was just showing you stuff that I really didn't have a good explanation for, but today what I've got. You remember when we did the last YouTube video a few weeks ago, I showed some books by Okada Yoshio about his work. And since that time, what I've been doing, I've been collecting Okada Yoshio books. His work looked really, really interesting, and I realized I wanted to learn more about it. So I've got here, now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We've got 9 other books by Okada Yoshio here. Nothing to do with woodblock prints, but I tried to find more about the guy's work, and some of it is stupendously interesting. So I'll show a bit of it. It's really hard to figure out which is the front on some of this. The barron for this job, it's the same as the one we use in our print parties downstairs. This is not a home barron, a really expensive, delicate barron. This is a Murasaki baran, kind of a student baran. It's made with really, really hard coil inside. It's easier for us to do this job, but it doesn't hurt the baran itself. Well, someone's asking, wouldn't this stretch it? Yeah, it does stretch it a bit, which is why I can't do some delicate work on the paper within a few minutes after doing this. That's what we had yesterday after doing the background printing like this, the calendaring. I wasn't able to do the regular printing. So what we're going to do this morning is I'm going to do this calendaring. There's about 30 sheets in here. I'm going to do the calendaring first, then I'm going to put the background color. I've pretty much decided we're going to do the background color this way, so that's what I'll do next. Yes, washi preparation. We don't always do the calendar job. It depends job by job. When it's critical for us to do this are a few things. One is, like our Ukiyo Heroes prints, when there's lots of colors going on top of each other, the paper's too rough at the beginning. And if we print some of the colors on the rough paper, and then bit by bit as it goes flatter, what can I say? It just gets, the paper's too rough to print good smooth color. So we do this when we have prints that demand that the color be perfectly smooth. We also do it on a print like this one, where there is no actual big wide area of smooth color in the image itself, but if it had a rough texture to it, it would look strange in the finished print. So we want the print to look just, what's the word? Smooth and attractive. And the current state of the paper is so rough that it just doesn't look interesting, doesn't look attractive anymore. This is a step that we shouldn't have to do if the papermakers did their job properly. For larger runs with bigger paper, we use a press, but I don't want to be that lazy all the time. Nice, beautiful paper, ready to go for the printing. That's 1/4 of today's group here. No, 1/2, 1/4. That's half of it. Okay, we're going through this. Yeah. No problem. That was half it. We'll finish this in a minute. We'll start printing. Did Dave say how the testing went yesterday? Well, we've got some test prints here. Were you not here a minute ago? Yeah, cheaper and lazy wins. That's not really the story. I know. It's not really. I can't blame them for what's happening. I know. Hang on. You know, back X years ago, when all of this business was really flourishing, when there were many paper makers in town, when there were many printers in town, everybody ordering lots of stuff. When the business was flourishing, there was a good steady supply chain for all the parts of it. So everything was sort of normal. In recent years, because so few people buy prints, because so few publishers are making good prints, so few people are buying them, the paper maker's business has gone down, 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 down. The supply chain is gone. In the paper-making village, there used to be specialist craftsmen who supplied the drying boards for people who are drying paper. You know how they do. You've seen the pictures, the video. The guys that make the sheets of paper, they lay them on a pile, squeeze the water out. Then they take the individual sheets of paper and put them up on large boards, put them out in the sun to dry. There were specialist craftsmen providing those boards. Those guys are gone now. So Iwano-san, he's got his set of boards there. There's, I don't know, he's got 100 of them or 200 of them, whatever they are. They're beautifully wide boards. They're actually laminated together because not all the trees are that big. They're plain, beautifully smooth, and he uses those. They've got them leaning up. They take the wet paper, brush it onto the smooth board. It dries in the sun, and because the board is beautifully smooth, the front side of the paper is smooth. Roll on 1 week, 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, whatever. This wet paper you're putting on wood, the wood absorbs a bit of the moisture, swells up, and after doing this for some months, the surface of the wood is no longer smooth. It's developed a rough texture. In the old days, he just calls the guy down the street, the craftsman come in, the guy takes a thin shaving off all the boards, they're smooth again, away you go. The paper is now smooth. The problem is the board gets, of course, a little bit thinner. You've shaved a bit off. Do this again a couple months later. Do it again a couple months later. You see where we're going. The board becomes too thin to use. And these are extremely, extremely expensive boards. So what he's done, because the boards are really not available now, he just keeps using the same board again and again and again and again, way beyond the time that it would normally be. And the surface of these boards, it's like a piece of sandpaper now. It's totally granular and rough. He takes his sheet of wet paper, brushes it over this rough board, dries it, peels it off, and sends it to me. And the resulting paper I get has this rough, granular texture on top. So this is what we have to do. We have to then moisten it a little bit, or we can do this before moistening or after moistening. Today I'm doing this job after moistening it. You've seen me do it the other day. We were doing it last week. I did it on the press before moistening it. Can't be helped. He's not a bad guy. He's not trying to cheat us. It's not lazy. It's just another thing that happens when not enough business runs through a channel and the supplies disappear. So. One of our printers, Kubota-san, the old retired Adachi printer who is doing Heroes for us, he's so happy with what we're doing, this press thing. Because no other publisher who sends him work bothers to do this. So he just gets a stack of modern paper, and what he does this job himself first before he starts printing. It's a lot of work for big prints. So what we've been doing is when we send him work, we calendar it first. And our printers are really, really, really happy. After examining many Edo-era prints, I noticed the colors are rarely smooth and almost granular. I'm not sure I agree with that. I know we have a bunch of Edo prints here. I've got lots of Edo Meiji prints in my collection. And if we're talking about ukiyo-e work, most of the color is pretty smooth. I'm not sure what you've been seeing here. It wasn't all perfect quality work, but to a large extent it was pretty well done. Guys, it's 8:30. Somebody do your job. Remind me to take the paper out of the freezer, okay? Or perhaps somebody did already. It is out. 3 packages out today. I stopped watching a documentary about dinosaurs to watch this stream. From one dinosaur to another, right? Just tuning in. It's going to be a busy room up here today. There'll be 3 stations busy. They're buzzing, buzzing, buzzing. Suga-san is working on one of the prints for the shop. It's the Stork in Rain print. It's in our catalog. It's extremely popular here in the shop. People really go for the birds with the embossing, and just whatever. Every day, 2, 3, 4 little leaves. Dave, did you see my email about the app that reads out Twitch messages? No, I didn't. I know, as in recently emailed, like a few minutes ago or a week ago. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'll look in the Twitch mailbox when we're done here. I'm not sure I'd want the whole chat read out loud though. I'm not quite sure what you're on to. If it was reading out loud to me, I'd need to wear headphones so it wouldn't feed back. No, I've lost this one. There's going to be our #1 test sheet at the top. Ridges in the paper. My problem is remembering to go and look at the freezer, not whose paper is coming out. I never try and remember whose paper has to come out. It's the idea about going to the freezer. But actually, the stress is back off on that now. The last few weeks, our gas heater has been broken, and I haven't been taking a shower up here in the mornings. I've been going to the bath at night. But the gas heater is back up and running. Today's Friday. I think it was fixed Tuesday afternoon. So now I'm back to normal. I have a shower up here every morning and come out of the shower and I face the freezer. So this is really helpful. What's this process we're doing? We're calendaring paper and making the surface of the paper smooth before printing. I'll start printing in a few minutes. I got the first color ready to go here. So hang on a minute, there's about 3 or 4 sheets left, then it's time for the actual printing to start. 2 sheets left. Octopus print is not done yet. No, there's I guess 2 full faces to carve. It won't be done soon though, because the next thing I have to do, in fact in a couple of days from now, after I get this first batch of these prints done, I'm back to my bench and I'll be carving the first print in next year's subscription series. So the octopus is going to have to take a break for a while. Okay, here's the calendaring job done. It's for tomorrow. Beautiful, beautiful, nice soft paper. Okay. Okay, let's get the first real block warmed up. When I was doing the carving on these blocks, I made a couple of slip-ups. On one of them, this is what I get, when I try and do things and talk at the same time. One of the blocks, I think I was doing this when Jed was here. So Jed was sitting chatting and I'm trying to answer questions and fool around. And I carved the registration marks in the wrong place. You can see it here. This is the strong lilac. And I carved the registration mark down there. See the corner there? That's the mark there. But it should have been there. So we got a shock. Suga-san and I, we were trying to print this thing. And she printed one of them, and here it is. She printed one of them, and the colors for that strong lilac were they're about 1 centimeter out of place. So we're like, what's going on? She looks at me and said, are you this stupid? What's going on? Can't you get the registration marks in the right place? And, well, no. So anyway, we just moved it. Then another thing, I screwed up another one when I was doing the registration mark for the background block. And again, it's the same thing, trying to talk and do things at the same time. It doesn't match, you can see? Now the green is okay. The red is okay, all the other colors are okay, but the background color is shifted a bit too high. Yeah, blame it on Jed, blame it on somebody else, blame it on anybody but me. Anyway, it's my fault, but the point being, So what the thing is, there's too much of a gap here. This registration mark and the block are too far apart. So what I'm going to have to do, let me switch my glasses here. It's an easy thing to do here. I've just got to figure out how much. It's like 1.5 millimeters. So just simply I have to put a new registration mark in about 1.5 millimeters down. Let me get a chance to get it here. See what the pencil mark is. Pen mark. If I cut a new mark there, that means that when I put the paper in this registration mark, the paper will be higher and the color will be lower. Got it? So if we want to move the marks, if we want to move the color, I want to move the background color down. The background color has to go down about 1.5 millimeters. So that means when the paper is in the registration marks, the paper has to be up. That moves the color down. So I'm just going to temporarily here, what is this? Rats, rats, rats. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm the guy who does this, so whatever. It's not a question of blame, it's a question of describing what happens. What's the variance for accurate registration marks here? I don't know. Well, accuracy is accuracy. I know. This particular block, the background block, doesn't key with anything else actually. Just a minute. Let me focus on this for a second here. And the registration depends on the situation, right? I mean, think about this. This background block doesn't actually key with anything else. It underlines everything. So even in fact, yesterday we made a print, even though the background block was actually 2 millimeters off track. So it's okay, it doesn't matter. But when it comes to the registration on these feathers, in fact, you can see, we were fooling around yesterday. Where's it? Look at this, look at this, look at this. These are off on one of these test prints. Look. See the gap here between these two feathers? This is where they should be. There should be a little white gap between the two. On this test print, there's no gap in there. And the reason that's off is because yesterday, when she discovered that these registration marks were in the wrong place, what she did first was she just got a pen and wrote where she thought they would be and tried to print it. And then after doing that, she made an adjustment. So it's case by case. The blocks for the feathers here need perfect registration. The blocks for the background here don't need to be so strict. Anyway, let's print. Step one. Oh, that's okay. This needs to be taken away too, but I don't have the chisels up here, so we'll just have to work with it. Garbage men. Exploding garbage bags. Now, color. So what we're going to do is just a woody color. What are you going to call it? Sandy brown. I'm not sure what kind of color to call it. It'll come out very, very light, something like this. And because it's so thin, we talked about this the other day, we're going to put in some just to give it some body. Gum arabic. If we thin it too much with water, you're just printing with water, with wet water, and it just gets too blotchy. So we need some body, a little bit of body in the pigment. Is that a coffee color? I wouldn't have thought so. It's not the color of any coffee we have here. Wet, well, you know what I meant, wet water, whatever. It's early in the morning here, it's okay. No, that's too strong for this job. Yeah, caramel maybe, no idea. Cameron will be here today, I suppose. It's normal, what is it today? Is it Thursday? No, it's Friday today. Cameron should be here, but he sent me an email this morning. Quite unusual for him. He never usually does emails in outside of business hours. I got an email from him this morning letting me know that he might be a tad late because he has to go and see the police department this morning. I think it's okay to tell you that, I think. Why would Cameron need to go and report to the police this morning? Or make a report to the police? It's a classic case of something happening in Japan. This happens all over the time. Hasn't actually happened to me since I've been here, but many, many people report this occurrence. It happened to Cameron last night, and he has to go to the police this morning. What could it be? Nothing to do with his visa. His visa is all in order, last I heard. Stolen bicycle. Welcome to Japan. I don't know where from. It would be from the station or perhaps in front of his house, or no idea. But he said his bicycle was stolen last night. So, and rather than just shrug his shoulders, he's going to make the report and try and get it back. So, It's middle school kids. Almost always it's middle school kids. That's a bit too loose. Block is still dry, drinking. Okay, are we good to go? Let's see. Here, there, where could it be from? So here's where we were a year ago, with that owl. I was printing the blue backgrounds for the owl day after day after day. So this year, who knows? Perhaps it'll be this one. I think somewhere I've got a bit of speckle here in the middle. So that's. Yeah, once we'll do it other than that owl thing last year, which was 2, sometimes 3, right? Some of those things. This is just a one shot. Get organized here. We'll go back to that. Come around. There we go. Okay, let's roll. Absolutely, we'll cut that off. We left the block uncut there in case we found we needed another block for carving, you know, adjustments on the green or something. Well, he's supposed to be here somewhere around now, right? So I wonder how long it'll take. He might not actually get here this morning because of that delay. An impression like this is mostly paste, really, you know. There's only the tiniest bit of pigment, this bit of water here to get the balance right. It's mostly paste. We're just printing with colored paste in this thing. The pigment is just a tint. A bit too dry. The block is still thirsty, you know. I'm moving quite slowly and the block is still fresh and new. It's still really thirsty. This is that old wood we've been using, we're starting to learn how to use. And Chonsan, our carver friend, he's been experimenting with some of the pieces of it. Because, as I said the other day when I was carving, the wood is sort of really too dry and brittle. Well, we can't just pour water on it because you can't carve on wet wood. We needed to find some way to try and restore some of the internal body to the paper. So he's experimented. He's taken a few pieces of it. Some he's used a kind of a wax, a liquid wax that he poured and rubbed into it. And we've tried some linseed oil. He said that the one with the wax, he said it became really easy to carve, really nice to carve. But we of course, we have to worry about how it will go for the printing. If there's a surface impregnated on the wood, maybe it won't take color. So he brought a few back the other day, yesterday, and we've got to try printing with them to see if they're going to work okay. So we'll figure it out, one way or the other, we'll figure it out. Yeah, it's not oil in the sense of it, it's just a touch. This camellia oil, we use it all the time when I'm carving, the camellia oil we use on the Baron. A little touch of it on the block, and it really helps the knife move through smoothly, but there's not enough in there to totally saturate and fill up the wood. So. But yeah, that's a concern. If we put too much oil in there, it'll affect the printing. So we're going to find out. We're going to try it. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It does work, because that's what we're doing right now. This block is a 50, 60-year-old piece of wood, planed down and being reused. Coming back to life again. What is Dave trying to do here? Dave is printing. This is actual work. You've seen me carve perhaps recently a lot. This is actual printing. We're printing the first color on the print that will be this year's gift print. It'll be a bit of a sleeper print this year, I think. It's not going to be a spectacular success like last year's was. It'll just be a quiet, pleasant print. The finished result is something similar to this. We're not quite sure exactly yet. Oops. That's what happens to the chat when the work itself is so repetitive. Over and over and over again, the same thing, the same thing, the same thing. That's my job, you know. This is a printer's job. Actually, it's cool, though, that you guys get a chance to see a bit of this. You know, this is what we do. We spend time getting it ready. We get some prep done, and then we spend hour after hour after hour doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. All the prints in the shop, every one of them you see, all the hundreds of prints we send out every month are made just like this. The girls just sit here all day long, repeating the same motions again and again and again, trying to get them as exactly alike as they can. That's their biggest challenge. That's what stops this from being a totally mindless, boring job. Their challenge is to try and make all the prints. The goal is to try and make them all exactly the same. And you can only do that by being steady, steady, steady. You get a rhythm going. If you stop and chat, if you fool around, the next print is a bit lighter or a bit darker. You've just got to get going. Moku Hankan, what does it translate to? Moku is wood. Han is the block. I mean, Moku Han ga, wood block picture. Ga is picture. So Moku Han ga is wood block picture. The kan in our name refers to the place. So it's the wood block place, literally. I know the kan is used, and when you have bijutsu kan, bijutsu are beautiful things. Kan, it's a museum or an art gallery. Tosho kan, reading place, is library. Ours is Mokuhan kan, woodblock place. It's a great name in Japanese. Everybody instantly understands what it is and what goes on here. It's not so good in English because it's too long. Excuse me. It's too long, and people that don't know it can't remember it. So all they can remember is that place that makes woodblocks that starts with an M. They don't know it well enough to be able to Google for it. So. Baking paper, it's similar, I guess. It's it comes from Goto-san, the guy who makes the barons. What does he call it? He calls it Suri Senyo Ategami. Senyo, specialized for suri, printing. Ategami, paper behind the printing paper, on a protective paper. And it's similar to a cookie sheet, so except it's really, 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 really thin. Most cookie sheet paper is fairly thick and dense, and we don't want it too thick because it affects the printing. So he's found, or has had ordered, or he commissions, I don't know which level it is, this super thin, strong paper, and I think it's kind of a silicone coating or something. It slips real easy. It absorbs water. That's why I use two sheets. I'm alternating bit by bit. If one gets a bit too wet, I go switch to the other one. It dries out while I'm not using it. If you just use one sheet again and again and again and again and again, it just picks up too much water. I think I'm a bit lighter than my first sample. No sign from Cameron-san. Hey, maybe he's been detained. With that new beard of his and the strange hair, maybe the cop doesn't recognize him, who knows? Is Dave creating a trend? I don't know. Just these guys are getting lazy, who knows? In Cameron's case, his wife is out of town for a few weeks visiting her mother, so I think that's what that's all about. Speaking about Jed, I wonder how his sketching is going in Kyoto. I wonder if he's been putting anything up on Instagram. Anybody been watching Jed's Insta? He's been in Kyoto now sketching for, what is it? Today's Friday, so he's been down there for what, 4 days? If somebody could do that, have a check on Jed's Instagram account. It's called The Jed Henry. See if he's posted anything from the Kyoto sketching. There's a way to gaijins to acquire some of the finer carving chisels. This stuff's available online all over the place. There's a place in America called McClain's, M-C-C-L-A-I-N-S. They sell these tools. There's a place here in Tokyo called Woodlike Matsumura. They do worldwide shipping. There's nothing esoteric or really unavailable about these tools. I know there's many people overseas now working on this style of woodblock printmaking, so tools availability is growing and growing all the time. I hear noise. Who is it? Suga-san or... It's the man himself. So they let you go.
Yeah.
Wants to get you in their clutches, you know, who knows?
Except they weren't even helpful.
I mentioned this morning that Cameron had trouble with the police this morning, so I did whatever. Just let it dangle a little bit. Actually, no, it's funny. I asked him to guess. I said, Cameron sent me a note, said he'd be a bit late, that he had to, you know, do something with the police department. Just nothing evil. But I said, Can you guess what it is? I think the first person said it's a Visa. A good call,
Yeah,
good
that's a
reply.
good guess.
And I said, nope, actually nothing like that. Then within seconds, somebody said stolen bicycle.
Yep.
Can you get in the backyard or what?
Sure, yeah. Yep.
Is there a story or what? From your house or from the station?
The station. Even though it's in an official Scuba Express parking lot, someone still...
It was locked? Was it? No.
I think I rushed to work and forgot to lock it that day, and so it's gone.
Middle school kids, the show. Was it rainy out there?
No, it's beautiful.
No, because that's the thing. Middle school kids on a rainy day, they go through the bikes looking for the wine. Where's an unlocked one?
I gotta get home fast.
Yeah, and they drop it 2 blocks from home.
Yeah.
So what's the prognosis? Will you get it back? Do you think? They think, or
I went to the police station that's really close to my house, and they talked with me, took down my name, my information,
and the bike
the registration number,
Yeah.
and then they said, "Oh, actually, we can't help you. Go to the one by Moriah Station." Thanks. Thanks for wasting a half hour. So,
On all bikes here, you go to the police department, register it, and get a little sticker. So there's a sticker on the bike with a number on it, so that when it gets lost and they find it, they go back to their database, which should be matched with your name. But when the kids steal it, of course, they just get a pocket knife and
but I
deface
think
the
it
numbers.
also is associated with serial numbers. I think they
On the bike
which are
itself?
printed on the metal.
Ah, really? Okay.
itself.
Okay.
So even if they do rip off that sticker, there should be a way for them to connect it. But,
So.
yeah,
But they're not really interested in this. There are so many stolen bikes every day.
Yeah. So but I found a Reddit page for people living in Japan, and someone a year ago or so asked, "I've lost my bike, what should I do?" And everyone said, "Go talk to the police, look for it." And then tons of comments say, "I got it back in 3 days. I got it back in 2 months. I got it back in a couple weeks."
What do you mean? They called you? You mean?
No, this is all just people in Reddit.
But I mean, how did they get it back? The police did find
the
it.
police find it and call them.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm hopeful, but
Because it will be abandoned a couple of blocks away from the kid's house,
Yeah.
and then at some point the community people doing their cleanup come
Yeah,
across it, and they're all scooped up by the city hall back to
Yeah.
the central place, and away they go. The numbers match up.
yeah, and it's distinct. Every single bicycle in this country, well, almost, has a basket on it, and a lot of them have lights that light up as you pedal. But mine has neither of those things. It doesn't have a basket, and it's got a separate battery operated.
Oh, gives it a light.
No, I have a light,
They'll
yeah.
put you in chains. And, holy crap!
It's got a light, but so it looks totally different. So I hope it'll stand out and be found quickly. But
Got a baby carrier?
not on that one. We've got another bicycle with a baby carrier.
So you're free, and she gets a baby carrier.
Yes, because she uses it during the day, and then ride out to work. Yeah.
Ah, I see. She has
Yeah.
to carry the baby. Okay, I get you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
But she just got her
yeah.
license finally and was able to convert it from the American one to the Japanese one.
In our situation, I'm the one that had the baby carrier because I worked at home. So whenever
Oh,
there
yeah.
was, I took the kids to the daycare center
Oh,
and stuff like that. And when our second kid got old enough to go to the daycare center, she had to get a carrier for her bike, and we made a fleet. We were
Oh,
down
nice.
from one.
I've seen some people
Two
doing
on a
the
bike,
craziest
yeah,
things.
yeah.
Baby carrier in the front, baby carrier in the back, and then a really small infant strapped to the mother.
yeah.
What? Got 4 people on that thing.
It's not legal, but the police leave them alone because what are you going to do? Harass the mother who is just trying to get around her daily routine.
Yeah.
So. To a large extent, it's not as dangerous as it might seem. The bikes are very low slung, very stable.
Yeah.
The kids are in helmets strapped in
Yeah.
and stuff.
But it's still just wild to see 4 people on one bicycle. Most of them are small.
And that doesn't happen on motorbikes like you see in like
No.
Indonesia and Vietnam and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Oh yeah, it's a My Little Pony bike, so I'm sure it stands out. Yeah, thanks.
やってるやってる
やってるよ。そうそうそう。
やってる
はい。なんだ悪いですか？
いえいえ
You already showed them. I've shown them the
Yeah, a little bit. It was funny, actually. It's funny. I know about an hour ago or whatever, I put this thing up. People are asking, show me. I just, let me do it again. Get this thing off here. I had the samples in the background there like this. And then what I did was I pulled it up. There still isn't really a final good sample. It's just approximate. I put it up like this.
Yeah.
To the stream to show what it was going to be about, and comments went totally, absolutely silent for about 3 or 4 minutes.
Uh-oh.
So they're stunned into silence. And it's not the cute thing that we had last year. You know, it's a
No.
pleasant wood block print, but it's not the stunningly, oh my God, I got to have one of those. It's so cute. My aunt will love this kind of an image. You know?
I
And
think
this-
it's beautiful.
It's okay. It's going to be more of a sleeper. You know, this isn't final because we really, I can't say we had trouble. We were going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth on what to do with the overlaying of the blue and the green and stuff. And I'm still not sure about that. So what I'm going to do is put the background in first, choose the basic colors for the bird, go with that, and then see how the overlays work from there. And I might have to trim some.
And then are you trimming some of the screen too?
Yeah, that's what I did. I moved the registration mark. I screwed up 2 places. The registration mark on the darker purple was off by about a centimeter.
Oh wow. Okay.
And the registration mark on the background, which I was carving when Jed was there, because I did that freehand. I didn't have a transfer sheet.
That's right.
So I was trying to blame that on Jed or something. Sugi-san,
はい。
ちょっと質問。昨日の試し刷りはどうですか？楽しかった？大変でした？ Talk to the guys.
どこだ？どこだ？
You're in here. You're in here. This is Sugi-san.
こっち？
So.
こっち？
This is Sugi-san who did this test printing yesterday. It's all her fault. Blame her. Blame her. Sugi-san のせいですから。
なんで？私のせい。
せいじゃなくておかげ。
おかげ。日本語ばかりません。
It's not her fault. It's thanks to her.
そう。どうですかこの絵は？まあどっちが一番いいとか、
そうですね。
今の重ねはまだわからないし。
そうですね。重ねがね。
とりあえずグリーンそのまま、その上にちょっとテストしますが、今24枚入ってますから、まあ売り物ですが、ちょっとその間にもちょっとテストしますから。
いい感じです。
バッグはやっぱりこの形。
バッグ、そうですね。やっぱりちょっと薄めであれの方がいいですね。
大丈夫かな。
今潰しすっただけですか？
そうです。前はウルバレン入れたんですね。
ああ、そうか。
ウルバレンプラス潰し。
プラス潰しですよね。楽しみ。
あ、それ盗んだんですか？ごめん。
どうぞ。
いや今。
あ、大丈夫？
いや、ちょっとだけです。
あ、オッケー。
What is it?
What is wrong? That's life.
Yeah.
It's
Nice and peaceful.
Other than the fact that it's showing death and just we took out the blood drops.
Oh yes.
Not for vegetarians, is that the idea?
Yeah.
So. So what's on our schedule this morning, Cameron? I forgot. Did
First
you
look
see
into the PayPal thing.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
They've just. I can say it, whatever. I checked in. I was doing my bookkeeping last night, clearing all things up, and it was a bit funny. Sunday was off, so I thought, okay, so look to it in the morning. So this morning, when I was having my breakfast, I logged into our different bank accounts to see what things were doing, and PayPal account showed $3,200 more than was supposed to be in there. I transferred out $3,200 to Seven yesterday afternoon.
And somehow.
And this morning,
get it back.
$3,200 came back. So this happens, maybe whatever, a bank transfers somebody along the line. I mean, we don't type in the numbers, but so I thought it was the same transfer coming back. But the message from PayPal said, no, this is a refund to your account for overcharges on international finance during the week of May 9th to 16th, in 2 weeks. And we didn't have,
$3,200
of exchange transactions.
Differences.
So don't spend that money, because I'm sure PayPal is going to send us another letter saying, "Oops,
Just kidding."
Just kidding. Exactly.
Yeah.
But I've never seen that. In all the years I've been dealing with PayPal, I've never had any problem with them. I've never had my account frozen like some people reported.
Yeah.
I've never had any problem at all. We've got tens and tens of thousands of transactions.
Yeah.
And this is the first one that I'm going like,
Huh?
what?
Weird. I'm going to take a look at that. I'm curious what is
I don't know. I have no, there's no human contact. So I think the best thing is just to sit and wait for a day and see what happens.
See if it gets pulled
You
back
know,
out.
if that from their end, so.
We accidentally gave you $3,000.
The thing is, maybe they won't do that. We'll forget about it. Then a year from now, fraud. What did you do? So. Excuse me. Excuse me. Wow, what's going on? Seeing somebody here say this comment, buy Bitcoin with it. It's funny because last night, a strange email came in. Well, it looked like a normal email. It was a phishing attack on us last night, or on me. It was a letter an email that came in, and it was from a name and email that I know, one of our collectors. And the subject line was a common subject line, my recent Mokuhankan print order. So it's from a person I know talking about his print order. So I was going to go ahead and click this, and then it just looked a bit funny. It said, I forget the exact words, your reader cannot read this email, click here to jump to the real version. And I'm like, wait a minute, you don't click a link in an email to jump to the real version. So I looked inside the body of the email to see what was going on. And it was a redirect to some .ru website. So then I Googled up around for some of the keywords from the email, and it was a phishing. This is the first time I've been phished directly. A name I know, a perfectly commonsensical subject line about your recent Mokuhankan print order. So I've never had the experience of being phished quite so, the hook was right there in front of my mouth. I haven't had that before. I guess this is what they call spear phishing, to show, it's aimed just exactly at me, not at a generic, your bank account, click here to register or something, This was spear phishing. I've never had that before. So I wrote an email to Cameron right away, alerting him that this had happened, and hey, watch out, Cameron, we're under attack, And we'll chat with all the employees today. Oops. No, the paste is not for stickiness. This is the paste. It's going on here in combination with a very, very light watery pigment. The pigment amount is almost nothing. This is a bit of water. And the purpose of the paste is to turn that thing into a cream. So what's on the surface of the wood now actually is a creamy substance rather than just droplets of water. And that's what gives us a smooth color. It's nothing to do with sticking. It's not paste in the sense of gluing something. It's just paste in the sense of giving body to that mixture that's on the surface of the wood. If it was just water, it would be too watery. I'm not quite sure how so I can say it. But now, because there's some body to that substance, the resulting color comes up. And this color today is so light you can't really see it, but the color would come up smooth. I'm not sure, because it's so light it doesn't really show, but what we've got is a smooth impression rather than just blobs and blobs of water. 今日3人ですね。レイちゃんも石川さんも。
ね
石川さんも午後かな 3時かな、はい、ちょっと覚えてないんですが、
本当ですか？
今紙出したんですからお昼ぐらいに絶対忘れない。
そうだね。
そうでも今ちょっと早すぎですね。石川さんが3時半ごろ。
3時半ごろか。
そう
あ、じゃあ
で今紙出したんですけどちょっと早すぎです。そう9:30 already. Grr. I was hoping to get this finished before I'm on party duty today at 10 o'clock. So. Oh, the show and tell. そうか。ね。Show and tell. It's 9:30 now. Let me take a rain check on that. The reason I prepared it was because I was thinking at first rubbing would take so long I wouldn't get a chance to start the printing. But now that I'm into it, I've only got 8 sheets left and I can finish this before I go to the print party. So let me take a rain check on that show and tell. Pretend I didn't mention it. The books are waiting here. I'll be back here tomorrow printing another color. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to tease. I just meant that I had something as a backup here if I hadn't running out of time, if I was running out of things to do. But I'm not. It's the other way around. I'm running out of time now instead of running out of things to do. I'm sorry. No, I teased about having a show and tell. I've got some Okada Yoshio books because I had to do the background rubbing first. I mean, I had to do the calendaring first.
Right.
I thought I've got nothing else to do, so I'll show the books. But as it happens, I went ahead with the printing, and I got 8 sheets left, and it's 9:30. I got to do the print party. So rain check on the little show and tell.
From Kanai-san. She is a machine. She just printed, I think these are the portraits.
Yeah, they came a few days ago, actually. Did it, or is that a new batch I haven't seen? Do you mean today, like right now?
Just now. It just arrived a minute ago.
Wait, where are the ones? I haven't even opened them yet from last week.
She was printing 2, number 2 and number 6. So
Okay.
This must be number 6.
They're both in. Actually, well, I guess so, because I spoke to her yesterday. This business about the, did this happen after you left, maybe? About the wrong size paper? I don't remember.
Oh, no,
because
we
you
talked
wrapped
about
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She is. She's indeed a machine. So,
Holy cow.
so
That's amazing. Just print.
what Cameron's talking about is
more.
one of the girls here who has been a printer. She was working for us a couple of years ago. She left because she had a baby. She's not back, but she's back with us. She's printing at home, her home in Nagano. Her mother is there to do the baby care for her. And as Cameron said, she has become a printing machine. I'm having trouble keeping up with the paper sizing. Oh, also, Cameron-san, that now there's a royalty for Kawasaki-san required on those. So I think Yasui-san's going to cover it.
Oh, yeah.
But make sure when you're paying Kawasaki-san, next month. This is included.
Okay, great.
I don't know. Maybe that's one that I carved. I don't know. But do get on top of this. There's 2 of them, and almost certainly they'll need to be a royalty. Oh, long ago. No, we're up to 500 on those things. Yeah. It's not Ayumi-san. That's another one. There's 2 of the girls are pregnant. The one he's talking about is Kanai-san. She got pregnant first a couple of years ago and left. That's it. Bye, Dave. Goodbye. Thanks for all the fish. She's gone. And then it's, I don't know, 6 months ago or something. I don't know. She actually had a bit of family trouble. She's gone back to her mother's place and she needed work. So we sent a printing bench and some blocks and paper, and she's just been eating it up, eating it up, eating it up. It's wonderful. The other one, Ayumi-san, the younger girl who got pregnant more recently, she's not being able to be so productive. The baby is still too young. And the stories get mixed up, I'm sorry. Ayumi-san, the younger one, came here a few weeks ago. We set up a printing station for her here. But it didn't work out. The baby is still too much crying. So Kanai-san is back up and running. Ayumi-san, not yet. What we were talking about, the royalty there, the printing job that Kanai-san has just done is from some of our subscription prints. The portraits first set, the set we did, it must have been in 2014, I guess. And the way we pay our carvers here, I mean, I don't get paid, but the other carvers get paid. The way we pay them is on a royalty basis. In the traditional way here, carvers just get paid for the job. How big the blocks are, how many there are, there's a negotiation about price, bang, the carver does the carving job, turns the blocks in, and then runs off into the sunset. That's the end of it. So carvers get paid per job as a hired gun. We feel that's a little bit unfair because the printers get paid for every sheet that goes out for the next 100 years, but the carvers don't get anything in the future. Now the argument is that's fine. I'm the publisher, I made the investment, I reap the profits over the years on that set of blocks. We're trying to do it a bit of a different way. The publisher is still going to sell prints and make profit from those blocks, but we've tried to build a system where the carver is rolled into the royalty rate. So what we do is all the work here that's done by outside carvers, we pay them a royalty, not a flat fee. They get 16% of retail for the first 100 prints, and they get 8% of retail for all subsequent prints. But some of the prints don't sell that much right at the beginning, so the carver has to eat. So we pay the royalty in an advance for the first 200 copies. So when Kawasaki-san carved those wood blocks for the portrait series back in 2014, once she turned in the blocks, she got paid that royalty for the first 200 copies. And then after that, every time we ask our printers to do some more copies, now Kanai-san has made another 50 or 60 copies of 2 of those images. We pay Kanai-san for the printing, and we send another check. We pay again Kawasaki-san for the carving. Even though she did the carving, it's now 4 years ago. And now she's been working for us for, 5 or 6 years. So she's built up a stable of these blocks. So she now gets paid for the new jobs as they're done each month. And she also gets back issue royalties from the back ones. Now it's okay, it sounds really good, and if she stays with us long enough, she's just going to be laughing all the way to the bank as long as these blocks last. The downside has been on those series that don't go over 200. For example, this year's Legendary Loot and the year before that, the Yokai series, still haven't hit the 200 mark in terms of people subscribing to them. So she got the original payment for those, and yet, nothing yet, coming later on. And maybe Legendary Loot will just go to sleep and no one else will want it. Or maybe over the years, little by little by little by little by little by little, it'll still keep interest. I think that's what's going to happen. It just goes into our back catalog. It becomes part of the long tail of this business. And as the years go by, we're ordering from our printers. Hi, do another 50 copies of this one, another 50 copies of this one. And at that time, she'll get paid. but her income now fluctuates up and down depending on the popularity of the prints that she's carved for us. So she doesn't have a stable income with us, but she has a steady monthly one for the current print, and then punctuated by extra money that drops into her account bit by bit by bit. But she never knows what's going to happen. She never knows how much each month is going to come from us. What do we got? 4 sheets left, and then I got to get downstairs to do a print party. Do I think I'll reprint the 100 Poets? I can't see myself doing that. I can't see it. Another 5 years of work for me on a series that's not so popular. Been there, done that. No. If they get reprinted now, it would be by our staff. And honestly speaking, there's not that much interest in it. Now, we've talked about this before. Our business basically is an export business. It's up to 97% now. 97% of our revenue either is from overseas orders or from overseas people, foreigners, who are here in Japan in the shop. 97%. Japan is basically not interested in what we do. And those poets prints are mostly all about the traditional Japanese poetry. So I really can't see anything happening with that one in the foreseeable future. The carvers fight over the designs. No, they're just designs. It's nobody fighting over anything. You know, I decide what to do. I'm trying to be reasonable about making sure they all get popular stuff rather than just not bad ones, of course. I think for Kawasaki-san, it's a win-win. You know, she gets a basic income normally from us for doing the work. I pay her for the first 200, whether they sell or not. And then she gets what she can consider bonuses. When we print more, she gets more. And she's happy about it. Remember, other publishers don't do this, so they don't send up those subsequent payments. So she's getting, from her point of view, something for nothing. I might be missing stuff here, no, I'm sorry. The print party starts at 10. The staff is down there. Teiko-san and Koizumi-san are in today. They're getting ready, I'm sure. They're getting the shop opened up. I will walk in 1 minute before 10. We got 2 sheets. It feels good to be back at work here, you know.杉さん、今のベタは紫バラに使ってるんですよ。
今？
いや、この中から紫ですよ。結構パワーですね。
あるんだ。
そう、バランス数字にならないんですが、結構パワーよ。本バランと比べると。本当にスムーズ。
使ったことない。
いや、試してください。
あ、そうなんだ。そう、紫バランあるんだもんね。
紫太しいんですね。
太し。
そう、結構パワー。 ちょっと心配は2回すりの場合は無理です。すごいバランス数値が出ます、ね。
ああ、そんな効くんだ。
で結構パワーよ、便利よ。
ちょっと今度はなんか潰し使ってみようか。妖怪の時使ってみようか。
いや、too small ですね。さっきのこの通りの方が良かったかな。
ああ、そっちで使いたかったな。
本バラも本バラですが、ベタの方がこのパワー、すごいパワーなんですね。
あ、結構太い。
ストロング、これ本当にスムーズ。
あ、本当ですか？2回つけてます？
一回。
さすが。ああ、結構本当だ。潰れますね。本当すごい。
でも心配は数字ですね。
やっぱ筋がすごいカチカチ。確かにこれだったらいける気がする。
じゃあ使ったことない？
今まで使ったことなかった。せっかくあるから。
もちろん本バラもメインですが、紫はそんなに悪くはないですね。安いバラは紐で全然意味ないでしょ。力入れて紐がタイトになるんですが、この紐はボーンズとかなんかグルーつけてますから硬くなったでしょ。すごい硬くなってる。
あれ紫バレーも紐っていうか布ですか？
紐ですが硬い紐ですよ。強い。ペンパリのバラも全部紫で。
あ、そうでしたっけ？
そうもう長持ちし、で今日この本バラ13番使おうかなと思ったんですが、白だけですからもうすごい薄いカバーでしょ。だからもうすぐさん巻いたんですか？
それは多分あゆみさんが巻いた。
あゆみさんですね。だから一番強いバラはその薄いものはもったいないですよ。
もったいないです。だ
から今日いやー綺麗使わないかなと。そうもったいないです。
すぐ破れちゃうし。
そう
薄いから。
Okay, gang, I have to get to work. Get to the next work. Yeah, I live here. I have a home. I never get there. I just crash. I was sleeping last night in the room next to it because my daughter has the room downstairs while they're here from Canada. Something about purple. We're talking about the tools. One of our tools, the barans we have, they're the home baran, which are made from twisted bamboo coils. And there's a sort of a student grade of baran that we use in a print party room downstairs, made by a friend of mine, Goto-san. It's called Murasaki baran, purple baran. It's not purple, but the string that's inside it is dyed a purple color. I was just telling her, she never used it actually, Sugi-san, but it's really useful. It's really, really strong. Really strong, and it doesn't wear and tear like the real home baran does. So it's very useful. We've got it in our toolbox, and case by case we use it. Tomorrow for printing these colors, the small areas, I'll be using a real home baran. The delicacy of that. Anyway, I got to get out of here, gang. Bit of a scrambled stream today. Anyway, you saw some real work. Tomorrow I expect to be right here, same time, same station, printing the next color on this print. Where we're actually going with it, I don't know, but we'll see. I'm late. I gotta go. Thanks very much. See you tomorrow, same time, same station. Good night for now. Camera off. Hot mic on. Nothing to say anyway. I gotta get downstairs. Bye-bye for now.